Okay, QB friendly. Again, you've got to have a system where it's easy on your QB. I can't stand going places where it's so complicated where I've been. That ain't fun. Again, quarterbacks are more talented than they've ever been, more skilled, and but within that, and more athletic than they've ever been. Within that, at the lower levels, eventually, they can kind of do what they want. They can make plays, which is great. If I had a guy that skilled, that's what I would let him do. But they get to college, maybe they're not forced to be as smart. Okay, they're not forced to have that knowledge base. So you got to keep it simple. Okay, and our system is that simple reads, progression reads, shell reads. I think Terry Bradshaw said he went to a Pro Bowl one time, and I think Dan Marino or somebody, I don't remember, said, "Yeah, I just go, is he open? Is he open? Is he open?" in that order. And Terry Bradshaw, I would have changed my career. Okay, joking, but it's true. Is he open? We can all determine that. My sister can determine, is he open? 1, 2, 3, 4, regardless of what the coverage is, regardless of what's going on. I try to make everything we have progression reads in some aspect. Do I think there's some other ways to do things? Yeah. And that's shell reads, 1 high, 2 high. Okay. 99% of our stuff is progression reads or shell reads. 80% of it's progression reads, 20% of it's, or 19% of it's shell reads. There might be 1% that's just man or zone, which you can do too. It's pretty simple. Man eyes, zone eyes. I learned that from Coach Moorhead. 1 eye, 2 eye, man eyes, zone eyes. Keep it simple. There's times where our quarterbacks don't have any clue what the coverage is, but they know it's 2 high and it's zone eyes. There's a very few things you can do 2 high, zone eyes, right? And they find green grass. It's that simple sometimes. So keep the reads simple. Don't say, okay, if it's cover 4, we're going here. If it's cover 3, we're going here. If it's man, we're going here. If it's cover 2, we're actually going here. If it's cover 6, we're going here. Don't do that. Okay. And that's easy to do as a coach. It's simple for us, right? I wish I could play quarterback now that I've been a coach and seen all the tape. Have a system, not a collection of plays. And that's hard. That's very hard, especially as you get more experienced every year. And you have a team that's very experienced and played a lot of football for you, then you can do a little more. You know what I mean? To keep them interested too. Keep yourself interested. But you start over with a young quarterback and a young O-line, you start over offensively. And you go back to the couple of years before that veteran group, and it is simple. And you start executing. It's a building process. It's not the same. And if you have a system, you can do that. You can have menus going into fall camp in the season that are small based on your experience levels. And that's what an organized coordinator has. You know, you don't just keep building and building and building. That stops eventually and starts over again when you have a new team. And if you have a quarterback that plays 3 years, that's a long ass time. Rarely do you get one that plays 4. And most of the time you get one that plays 2. And some of us anymore get one that plays 1 because we can't keep them here at the program. So have a system, okay, and a terminology that makes sense. That fall camp, spring ball, that first install, it's pretty much the same, you know, and it builds from there. Stay in that system during the season. Now you can run the same plays and mix it up and do some things. And I think it's a long year for these kids too. It's a long year for the coaches. So you got to have fun. You got to be creative. They've got to come into Monday's practice, Tuesday's practice, and say, okay, we got a little flavor this week. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that, but it's within your system. You're not just saying, okay, I'm a zone run team. Hey, you know what, this week we're running counter and we're going to run the hell. That's not real. Or I got this new pass play I saw from the other team the week before, or watch it film. You can't really do that. Maybe you can tweak some of your pass plays, in my opinion. You know, if that's all you do, yeah. But there's a reason that air raid system, they run the same thing over and over and over again, from what I've been told. I've never been in it, but when I've been told, and they hunt green grass because they understand how hard the pass game is. You got to get good at it. Okay. So don't stay within the system during season. And then the off season, if you don't have something, you know, year 1, I created some formations, and I wish I wouldn't. If you don't have something, add in the offseason that you just make a note of it, things that you keep coming back to every week. There'll be things that you every week that you want to do that you don't, and then you realize, we don't really need to do that, right? Stay within your system. 25, 15, 5. Okay. This is something that I've done this offseason. 25 first and second down plays. That's it. And when I say 25, 5 of those might be the same play out of 5 different formations. Okay, that equals 5, not 1. And that's hard for us to do. That puts work on the coach on the beginning of the week to game plan and really study on what the defense is going to do. What do they do versus teams that have similar personnels? Okay, 25, 15, 5. Count, and I challenge everybody watching this, count how many plays you have on first and second down on a weekly basis. Total. Okay. Again, 3 runs out of 3 different formations, same run and everything, just a little bit different formation. That's 3 plays. Okay. So don't cheat in that aspect and think that's just one. 25, 16 runs, roughly 9 passes. And 9's probably a high number some weeks if you're running the football team. Just first and second down, different passes. And again, probably those passes, 2 by 2 different versions of it, but it's the same pass. It's 2 plays. If you have 2 formations that you're running that same pass play, that's 2 plays. Again, go through and look at that. 15 third down plays. That includes 3rd and 1 to 2, 3rd and 3 is kind of how we look at it. 3rd and 4 to 6, 3rd and 7 to 10, and 3rd and 11 plus 15 total. And some of those first and second down plays for us, a lot of them are the same plays on 3rd down, same pass plays. Okay. Because, and 5 goal line plays. Okay. And a lot of that is carryover, the 15 and the 5 carryover week to week that we're just good at. 3rd and 11 plus, guess what? We don't have many 3rd and 11 plus plays. It's the same crap every week. A lot of times, might dress it up, but it's the same plays. Again, 25, 15, 5, stick to that. That allows us, looking at the rep count, to rep everything 3 times against our 3 top looks. That doesn't include walkthroughs, and that doesn't include 7-on-7 team reps during the week. And how we do things by Saturday's game, they got to see 3 times, 3 different defenses in some aspect, their top 3 looks to that formation, or however we're looking at it that week on offense. So they're ready for anything, you know, and a lot of people don't do that. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think it puts ownership on you as a coach beginning week, not just to throw a bunch of ideas out there and then see what sticks. It puts ownership for you to really do a deep dive and game plan, and it allows the kids to practice that stuff. How many plays do you run on a weekly basis? They see 1 time during the week, maybe max 2 times, right? That's hard to do for a kid. Okay. And that protects you. That at least allows you not to have negative plays. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find explosive. We're trying to limit negative plays. Maybe 1 week you have 14 runs and 11 passes, right? That's okay, but stick to that 25, 15, 5. That's what I'm trying to do moving forward, and looking at that when we've been successful, when we haven't, when we've had too much, when we couldn't practice at all. And that allows your backups to get a lot of those, get reps too. So again, that's just team reps, not walkthrough, not 7-on-7, not inside run, team reps. So you're even getting even more with all those things. Okay. And don't create the pass game every week. No, don't do it. Okay. You can tweak your stuff. You can do little, okay, hey, I'm going to throw this, catch it, and throw this. But read-wise for the quarterback, it's got to be simple. Okay. If you stick to the 25, 15, 5, the quarterback gets a ton of reps of your stuff, and you're not creating a pass game, they're confident going to a game, very confident. And it takes a quarterback a long time to feel really comfortable in a college football game. And that's what we're all searching for. But give them a chance. Teach defense, the front 7 and coverage. Everybody teaches coverage, the front 7. This game at quarterback, the 7-on-7, that ain't real life. Okay. Those guys attacking you in your face, not being able to see all those things. I'm not saying you throw blind, but having being familiar with the front 7 is huge. Knowing where guys are going to be, being able to anticipate it's this coverage. This is where the mic's supposed to go. The wheel's supposed to go. This is how they're doing their zone dropping, or they match routes, or they're getting their eyes on the quarterback, whatever they're doing. Right. It allows that front 7. When you have and we talk about the front 7 a ton, and it doesn't matter 90% of the time for the quarterback. No, run game checks, that kind of stuff. But it matters in them being comfortable throwing the football in a team setting, right? So that's huge. Teach them defense before you do anything. Play to their strengths. That's obvious. Don't do things you want to do. Do what they can do. And that is coaching. That is being a coordinator, right? Seeing the forest through the trees, if you will. Now, again, that's what your assistants are for, right? The details of all that stuff. You've got to see the overall picture. You've got to see the season picture. You've got to see we're doing this week, the setup, blah. You got to see that, you know, and if you're good enough to do that, that's huge, right? That's the coordinator's job. But your also job is to play the quarterback's strengths. Starts there, okay? Lots of team. I hate 7-on-7. I hate all those things. I love team. No, I don't hate 7-on-7, but I love team football. Play tons of team football. Team pass, team run. Play action pass team, red zone competition in the team, right? Biggest 7-on-7 in the red zone. It's good for young quarterbacks just to get the idea. It's good for the receivers, right? They love it, keep them happy, all those things. But play football, man. It is so hard to play football. All 11 guys out there, all the distractions you have, all the eye candy you have as a quarterback, and anything and everything, things you can't even measure. If you've never played the position, it doesn't even make sense. Putting the helmet on for the first time again in a long time. The face mask is in there. They've been throwing in the summer, no face mask on. All the little things. play a ton of team football, right? Play together, see the timing and spacing. You might have a veteran. It's like, why am I all these? It's all 11 guys working together. And that's what happens in team football. And allow your quarterbacks to play. Okay. Allow them to play. Young quarterbacks, I'm going to make them worse when they first get here. No doubt. And that's okay. I'm going to break them down. I'm going to build them back up the right way. They've got a natural skill set. Hopefully, if we've done our job recruiting, they've got some great skills, but they've got a lot to work on. And allow them to play, though. They get out there, don't screw them up on game day. Do all your coaching beforehand. I think it's hard for me because I'm competitive and all those things. Like, I shouldn't get mad at these guys on game day. They're not trying. I did something wrong during the week, but I got to allow them to play on game day and fix it afterwards, fix it during the week, the next week. I've got to allow them to go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to go out here and ball. That's the mindset they got to have. I'm going to go out here and do my thing. If they're worrying about me and what I'm thinking on game day, that's not good. If they're worried about their fundamentals on game day, that's not always good. They got to be able to play. Those fundamentals got to be second nature. So I've got to allow them to play and not be all over them. I've got to allow them to create. I've got to allow them to make plays.